Hey everyone, here with my orange Nike t-shirt again from the gym. I don't have any other gym shirt apparently. Today I'm going to be going through the Take the Initiative tournament. It's one of the more competitive tournaments that is played globally online. And I'm going to be going through the top cut lists. So on my screen, you'll see a list here. I'm going to be going through all 16 lists. I actually am participating in this tournament. All right, so let's dig into these lists here. So the first one is Sip. He's playing a green Boba. I think what's interesting about his list is he's playing it smart by keeping the core of the deck, the tested, tried and true core of this list. And he's putting in other cards to kind of fill in spots. So he's playing Boba Fett's armor. He's playing Jetpack, which can be smuggleable. So it's very safe to play that card because you can just resource it early when you don't want to see it. You don't lose it. You get to play it later again. He's playing Super Laser Tech and Resupply, so he can go fast against the control decks. McClunky, Salacious Crumb for some life gain, some ping shenanigans with McClunky, so you can bounce Crumb and Greedo with McClunky on turn 1 against aggro. He's got the Crafty Smugglers, so the shielded unit. He's not playing Dr. Evazan. Unfortunately, I think that card is too punishable. He's playing 2 Waylays and 2 Cunnings still, which is interesting. And I did ask him why he's not playing Relentless Pursuit, which is the 3-cost event that captures something that costs the same or less than it. And if it's a bounty hunter, you get to put a shield token on it. He's really just not playing a lot of bounty hunters. He's playing Boba Fett, Greedo, which Greedo can't capture anything, and then the Boba Fett leader. The TIE Phantom is in the sideboard. I think that card is just good against control for him. It does get beat by a lot of other things. So that card is very, very good, but it is answerable by a lot of decks. And I just find this deck really interesting because it's very aggressive, actually. He's playing Greedo. He's playing the Mercenary Gunship. Those are both, turn 1 3-powered cards. He's got 4 upgrades that push damage. He's got 3 Surprise Strikes and 2 Cunnings, which can also push damage and Overwhelming Barrage. This deck definitely feels pretty aggressive. And I did play him actually this morning, and I did beat him 2-1 with my Sabine deck. So I ended up playing him. This is a version of Sabine that there's some other versions I got going on, but I tried the Underworld version of Sabine where you just play all Underworld cards and you just try and ping them to death with the Lady Proxima. The deck is fun. It's a fun deck. It's not necessarily a competitive deck. It's a good, fun deck, but it's not something I'd play in a tournament. And so this list, I'm not going to go too much into it because I'm still in the tournament. But this list has been, again, I'm doing the same thing as Sip. Very, very similar core cards in the list. The sideboard's playing 4 new cards, L3 for capture, and then Daring Raid for Han Solo. The young Han, because he does damage his units, Daring Raid is often a 1-cost kill something. It's pretty good in Sabine. So I'm going to do that. The Valiant Assault Ship looks bad when you read it, and that card has performed insanely well. If you don't have an immediate answer, it's smacking in for 8 damage with a Surprise Strike next turn. Very, very good if my opponent doesn't resource, which they probably will. And if they don't, I'm happy because then they're not playing top end, right? If they stop at 4, they're not playing Overwhelming Barrage, right? Things like that I don't have to worry about. Heroic Resolve is really good because it's a 1-drop filler. It's a curve filler. And so a lot of decks, there's decks like Boba that I wouldn't play this into because they have Waylay. But if you don't have access to Waylay or Power of the Dark Side, which a lot of decks, if you're playing Heroism, you probably are not playing either of those cards. Heroic Resolve on a R2-D2 turn 1 makes him a 2/5, which is very hard to kill, or even on a Cartel Turncoat, the space unit. So if you put this on a space unit, you have a 3/4 space unit, very hard to kill. You have to have an event most likely to kill it because you're able to just continually hit for 3 It's basically a more powerful A-Wing in space. And so I really like the resolve. Also, putting that on the Sabine leader as a curve filler on the 4 resource turn is very good. Again, the core package Rebels are too good. You cannot in Sabine. There is no version of aggro right now in Heroism that doesn't play Rebels. It's just super fast. Fleet Lieutenant is one of the most powerful 3-drops in the game. It's a unit, so you play a unit. It adds pump to board, most likely, and it adds an action to the board. So just 3 things on a turn 2 play. There's almost no cards in the game that do that, right? It's just very, very strong. Poe, of course, is a great sneak attack target. It's a great 5-drop against some of these decks that, if your leader comes out on 6 and you have a bunch of 3/3s on the board, if I slam a Poe with my existing board, you're not killing Poe most likely, and Poe is going to at least get in for 1 hit. Or if I have other units and I play a Poe, it's going to make you put all your attention on my tapped Poe. The one of Falcon is performed very well. I think I probably would add maybe 2 in the deck in the future. I really like the 6-drop Falcon. It just clears out space and it can push mad damage. Surprise Strike on the Falcon is 8. Heroic Sack is 7. With Red 3, it ambushes in as a 6/5. With Heroic Resolve on the next turn, you can hit for 9 Overwhelm. It's just, it allows you to do these insane combo plays that if your opponent just doesn't have an answer, and at that point in the game, they may not because they've answered all the other stuff, it just wins the game. It's very strong. That Falcon, do not sleep on it. It's one of the best cards, and I've said this in a different video that's going to be posted. I think it's one of the best cards for Cunning Heroism in set 2 by far, and should be played in a lot of decks just because of what it does when it hits the board. 5/5 ambush and heroism is something we don't have a lot unless you're playing, ECL, and artificially giving a unit ambush. So I really like that card. All right, let's move on here. Sorry, Rebel Trader. All right, Astico. Cassian, not crazy about carbon footprint. So this looks like a Cassian deck that's drawing cards, untapping resources, upgrading its units. He's basically playing a very, very, top end heavy deck here. So he could play Cartel Turncoat, give it the smuggling compartment. It's a 3/4 in space that can untap resources. Snapshot can hit a space unit. So I totally get this, a smuggling compartment on an A-Wing, and then you attack with the A-Wing, you get to untap the resource. I've almost thought about playing the smuggling compartment in Sabine just because of what it does to resource advantages. And it does give you +1/+1, so it's still good. Not playing for a cause, so it definitely loses the top end. It's playing outmaneuver, probably against Green Sabine. This is a 100% space deck besides K2. It's playing the Mercenary Gunships, Alliance X-Wings, Cartel Turncoat, A-Wing, Red 3, no Wing Leader, no Fleet. So this deck is going to lose initiative, but it definitely has a lot of punch here and can definitely cheat in, or not cheat in, it can draw a lot of cards. So very similar to my deck. I think it's going to be a bit slower, but maybe a bit, if it gets the nutty draw, it'll get the nutty draw, right? Bamboozle to take out experience tokens. You got to play careful with this deck. It's got a lot of tricks, a lot of blow up plays. Pretty good in my opinion. They have this 4/1 when defeated, draw 2 cards. There's a lot of you can like sneak attack that in, right? And then you draw 2, hit for 4. It's pretty good. I really like that. This is something I've even considered playing in Sabine, honestly, just getting rid of For a Cause and playing this exact same deck, but with Sabine. All right, so On Demand is playing Green Ray Skywalker, or Ray Scavenger. I don't know if she doesn't have a last name. Timely Intervention with ECL, so he's got 4 ways to ambush in the deck. He's got Regional Governor to call out cards, Restored Arc 170, Spark of Rebellion to look at hand. I don't know why that's in the main deck. Cooley, this card, I hate this card against aggro. It's so good. You're often drawing a lot of cards with it. Echo Base, Concord Dawn, Bright Hope, so 9 main deck Sentinels, because I think they know that Sentinels are going to be a problem for them. Lots of main deck Restore, definitely a scary deck for me. I think this deck would have a hard time against Control. Probably have a hard time against Boba because of some of the Boba decks, but there was only one Boba in the top cut and they just lost. So we'll see how this deck goes against some of the other decks in the meta. Choose sides. Man, there's definitely some cards I've never tested. Like that card is probably dead against me. Rivals Fall is horrible. He's not playing takedowns anywhere in the board. So my first 3 turns are going to be pretty quick. And, Kylo Ren, in my opinion, I've been playing that card. It's not good. I do not like Kylo Ren. He really doesn't do anything. When he comes out, he's just a 6'7" who sits there and dirtles. You can ECL him, of course, but I don't know. It's an odd deck. Oh, he is playing the modded cohort, which is a 2/4 that can get pumped by Rey. So that's definitely some interesting interactions there. Mars is playing a mid-range control Krennic. Not hard control. It doesn't have takedowns. Oh, it does. It does have takedowns right here. No Fell the Dragons anywhere in the board. Top target to gain life. Bounty Hunter's Quarry to pull out. Super Laser, Consortium Star Viper, Black Sun Starfighter, Phase 3 Dark Trooper, Death Trooper, and Gamorrean Retainer. Power of the Dark Side. He's playing a lot, 4 main deck Sentinels here. He's playing Steadfast, which is the classic Steadfast combo with Krennic. OB, Overwhelming Barrage to clear board. A 4/4 Shielded Sentinel on the ground. Kind of bizarre in my opinion. This is like only good against aggro, and there's a lot of mid-range. This would just loot. It's a 5 cost common. Don't think that card is good, but it's cool to see someone testing it. I gladly proven wrong here. Darth Vader, 5/7 ambush. When played, look at the top 10. So you could pull a lot of these cards. Death Trooper, Phase, Black Sun, Super Laser. He does have a lot of misses though. He misses on Consortium. I mean, actually, he's only got 3, 7. He's got less than 10 hits for Darth Vader. That's interesting because Darth Vader does whiff a lot. He does whiff a lot. My guess is he wants to hit Phase 3 Dark Trooper or Black Sun as a Sentinel, but he's only got 4 in the deck. This late game is kind of meh. It is very situational. Sentinels are always good. So he's got 4 in the deck. I mean, you could easily whiff on that. That's interesting mathematics there. Maybe, people maybe not be getting to that point yet where they're like creating hypergeometric calculators for this. I think I said that right. We got Avenger and Reinforcement Walker. Sideboard is sort of the play sets of the rest of the cards, and then Confiscate, probably against Sabine, Darksaber shenanigans, and Boba Fett's armor. Falafel, what's up, Phil? Great deck here. Very excited to see him perform well. Tarkin Town Raid, this deck is very good. It's got Crate Dragons, Luke's, Kylo Ren's, Obi-Wan's. Good removal package against Control. It's got the Forces with me, and then Force Throw for event synergy here. So 5 main deck ways to manipulate Force synergy. Obi-Wan can pump all these guys when he dies. He's got Village Protectors and Concord Dawn for the Sentinels, and this one is shielded. Very, very good. Definitely a good deck against aggro because of the Sentinels. Val is a great turn 1 play. A 2/4 when defeated. She can give experience tokens. You can play Yoda, Moisture Farmer for more restore. There is no lightsaber in this deck, which I believe someone else is playing a lightsaber. There's a lot of rays in this one. Voltaire, Voltaire is very excited about this deck. I really like this deck. It's got 6 turn 1 drops that are Imperial that you can pump with Tarkin. And then Swoop Down. So this deck is majority space. It plays 9 ground units early, 12 ground units early, and it plays 12 ground space units, and then Triple Dark Raid to go looking for more space units. And then the idea here is to play early space, turn 1, TIE LN, then turn 2, 7 Fleet, then turn 3, Triple Dark Raid, grab TIE Advanced, use Tarkin to pump another space unit, attack in for 7, attack in for 3. The whole idea is just to cheat out all of these experience tokens. You got Overwhelming Barrage, and then you can pull in these Sentinels late game with the Triple Dark Raid. Very, very good. I love this deck. I definitely think that this could be a tier 1 budget deck with swoop downs, especially giving your guys super, weighted stats that can kill ground units is very good, and to pop shielded units like the Client. So I definitely think this deck's really good. I almost thought about playing this in the top cut, but I didn't have a tuned list. This deck definitely has an untuned sideboard, so they're just playing it. Very good main deck. core, 50 cards in the main deck here. They're just going to be jamming this into the top cut. Definitely could steal some games. And if they win, I'd be very, very happy just because of how cheap this deck will be. It'd be very cheap to play this deck. And if this deck is good, this could be something you bring to locals and win with. All right, my boy Jax here playing a blue Han. Definitely really good with the Mace Windu's, Redemptions, Chewbacca's, Crates, Luke's, and Attack Pods and Black Ones. Obi-Wan's and Poe's, it's the top end here. Holy moly, half the deck is top end, and that's what you can do with Han Solo. Han Solo can do a lot of shenanigans here. He's playing a lot of Force packages here with The Force is With Me, Force Throw, Mystic Reflections, Covert Strength for the Smuggle. So this is all like early removal and combat tricks and stuff like that. He's got the Heroic Renegade and then the A-Wing for those early plays. Cassian for a cause to burn your opponent out. Actually, let's take a look. How many non-heroism? He's got 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. 5. There's only 5 non-heroism, so this deck can close games out with for a cause I believe in. The shield token is going to be relevant for sure into a lot of Boba matchups or mid-range matchups where they don't have takedown, and I did notice a lot of blue decks are not playing takedown, so that shield token is going to be very relevant.
Dad?
Yep.
What is that green thing?
That is a scab. That's totally normal. I'll put more medicine on it. Go in the bathtub and keep it washed. Go.
I already did.
Okay, go. Get dressed. Can you shut my door? Oh, I'm almost done with the video. Shut it, please. Three, 2, 1. All right, so Jackson's sideboard here definitely has the rest of the curve here. A lot of people are doing this where they're taking like one copy of a playset out of the deck and then putting it into the sideboard so that they can optimize per the matchup. And I think that's definitely what you should do when the meta is unknown, is put in a lot of 2-ofs and then put like 8 cards in your sideboard where it's like one of. So you can pull cards out that you don't like, pull in the third of each card that you do like. And I think that's a very good sideboarding. I can't say this French name. I'm just going to call him Junior. Hi, Junior. I can't pronounce it. I've heard people pronounce it before, and it's too difficult for me. So Ray, another red Ray. I'm not even going to go over this because the lists are so similar. We've already actually had a mirror match in this top cut. There's 2 red Rays, and they played each other, which we'll see in a second. Woji playing green Kira. And this is not necessarily a control deck. It's got Power of the Dark Side. It's got Make an Opening. It's got Vigilance and Takedown and Rival's Fall. So yes, it is got all of the markers of heavy control, but they're not playing play sets of every single one. They are playing Inferno Force, Scout Bike, Pike Sentinel, Death Troopers, Super Lasers, Consortium Star Vipers. They're playing the Client. They're playing a lot of life gain. It's a mid-range deck that's heavily tacked against aggro. Even though I think, am I the only Sabine in the top cut? I didn't even look yet, to be honest. So the sideboard here has got the Fell the Dragons and takedowns for sideboard optimizations, Devotion against aggro, most likely, Palpatine's Return against control, Super Laser against mid-range. I don't know why the third one's in here. And then they're playing more top end, probably against control or even mid-range. Snoke, Supreme Leader Snoke. First off, really cool that they printed this card. Glad to see a really cool, character, Force character from the Star Wars universe. And kind of weird that he's blue, though. I guess he's the command, he's in charge. Actually, yeah, he should have been green, maybe. I don't know. It's interesting that he's blue. But -2/-2 here, and then lots of top end. Again, these decks all feel really similar to set 1 decks with some like slot optimizations. So we got Pike Sentinel here as this early Sentinel. Not even sure if that's good or not because Sabine just kills that thing. Like, why are you playing this? I don't know. I don't really know if I like this. You can give it a shield token, which is very nice. So it can become a 2/1 with a shield, but I don't know how good that is. I do think Kira is going to be one of the better leaders because of what her, her action is going to be something you're going to want to play on. It's going to take a high skill player to play this deck. So I think it's really good. You can kill Super Laser with Kira if they have no units. I like that interaction. ECL to bring in Gideon Hask, Lom Pike, even the client, he's shielded. If you want to clean something up, you can do that. You can bring in Death Trooper with that. I will say a little awkward. He's only got Lom Pike and Gideon as ideal ambush targets. Death Trooper, yes, he can ambush in for 6 because he can do 2 damage to something, 2 damage to himself, and hit for 3. So 5. Sorry, I'm used to Krennic. So kind of weird. You may not have an ECL target that's ideal for the entire game because Darth Vader already has ambush and he's 7. So there's no good top end targets here. I think that was potentially going to be a downfall of this deck because there's no targets for ECL. Yes, Consortium Star Viper can kill a space unit in aggro, but again, I think I'm the only aggro player. So, I do like Lom Pike. I do like that. Still don't really know how good that is though. I mean, you have two, Gideon Hask is the best ECL target in the deck and you have 2 of them. It's very likely that you could play 3 matches and see 1 Gideon. That could happen. It happens to us all the time. I just played a top cut where I played 2 games and didn't see a single Falcon even till turn 6. So it happens a lot. Vlad here, he lost against the Ray Red already. Some people played early because it's a holiday with 4th of July. People are traveling, summer vacation. So we're trying to play this online tournament in a way that fits everyone. Very similar to the other ones I've already gone through. The changes here, I think some people are not running the main deck pillage. And then Force Throws main deck, 1 open fire, and the Jedi lightsabers are interesting changes here. I don't think the other list was playing Regional Governor as well. Maybe they were, don't remember. But again, mirror matches are going to be who draws Luke Skywalker, and that's what they shared already, is that essentially every person that won stuck a Luke and the other person didn't, or the other person drew a Luke and the other person just didn't, because Luke can kill Poe. So if the other person plays Poe and then you lose a unit and then you play Luke, you kill Poe for free and you have a game ender on board. The Crate Dragons never came into play because the games were ending on 9 resources. Not on 9 resources in terms of after you play the 9 resource card, but people were just attacking on that turn and winning with an attack. So the Crate Dragon was irrelevant from what I understand. Oh my goodness. Another one, Grand Lotus. Rilo playing Kylo and Rey. So interesting, very similar Force Throws, Daring Raids. What's different here? No lightsabers. Again, pretty much the same list. Just nothing else. I can't believe there's this many Rey Reds. I don't know if this deck is good, to be honest. So I personally think it has a lot of bad matchups. It can steal a lot of games, but not sure. Okay, here we go. What's up, Al? What's up, man? Sabine, you've always been on Green Sabine since late in the top cut. He's playing Heroic Resolve. I love this card. Definitely high on this card. Very, very good card. Darksaber, one of. That makes sense. I think Darksaber is a high punish. He's playing a lot of space here. Gray Squadron, Y-Wing, A-Wing, Alliance X-Wing. He wants to play turn 1 space. I'm not sure if that's good for Sabine. I think Sabine is strong on the ground. That's my opinion. He's playing Wing Leaders, Fleet Lieutenants, Wreckers, Poes. This is a very good list. In my opinion, I would swap out the Gray Squadron Y-Wings, maybe one of that and 1 Rebel Pathfinder, and I would put in 2 R2s. Because being able to play R2 Heroic Resolve is pretty good. Or, A-Wing or Battlefield Marine turn 1, turn 2, A-Wing plus R2 is very good. You're just, flooding the board against these decks that want to kill units. So I've tested with the Gray Squadron Y-Wing. This card is unplayable. I'm sorry. Giving your opponents a choice is not good. Never good whenever a card gives your opponent a choice. But I'm very glad to be proven wrong here. In my opinion, if he plays this on turn 1 and I have a Sabine out and he attacks with Gray Squadron Y-Wing, I'm going to do 2 damage to my Sabine unit on the ground if I'm playing the mirror. And that's just an example of why Or like, let's say he attacks his Gray Squadron Y-Wing into mine. I'm going to do the 2 damage to base, of course. And then I get to attack with mine, and then he's going to do 2 damage to base. So it's just giving your opponent options is never good. Wrecker and Poe, insane. I mean, the top end of this deck is absolutely wild. Very, very good deck. All right, Pirate Han, Arg, Heroic Renegade, Bo-Katan, Fighters for Freedom, Heroic Resolve, Carabas. This deck is scary. I think Wu did a video on this. This is very similar. Desperado Freighter, that's not good. I don't think you should play that card. Maybe a sideboard card. I just think it's just interesting. You get to play Poe on 4 resources. That is incredibly scary. I don't like this deck. This deck can actually beat Sabine. They cheat out Heroic Renegade, take initiative, Carabas my turn 1 play, smack for 4, play another, cheat in another Heroic Renegade or a Bo-Katan. This deck scares me. Very, very strong. Hey, it's a Mace Windu deck. You can actually play Mace in this deck. Super fast deck. And then the sideboard is Crates for the top end. That is the correct play. Very good. You play Crate in this deck because you can cheat it out and you need to be able to beat Control. This deck would have a hard time against Control. For a Cause seems odd here. He's playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 non-heroism cards. I do not think you play For a Cause in this deck. I think you pull in the Fang Fighters to pop upgrades you don't like. I think For a Cause is not good. Yes, you get the ping off of Fighters for Freedom, but it's probably going to hit for 2 damage most of the time. Statistically speaking, you're going to have a lot of 2s. I'm glad to see that on 2 damage. Like, give it to me all day. I'll see that on 2 damage all day. All right, so Dylan, the Underwhelmer. Again, another Ray Red. I'm not even going to go over that. What is going on here? How many do we got? Green Han, glad to see a Green Han list here. Playing a lot of set 1. What are we seeing that set 2? 1 Take Captive, 3 Kiras. I'm not even going to go over the set 1 cards. 2 Sundaris. We got 3, 6. Excuse me? There's only 6 set 2 cards in here? What the? Okay. And then the sideboard, there's only 1. So this is a set 1 deck. I'm not even going to count those cards. So this is a, set 1.5 Han. Again, if they win, insane. But I think they're missing out on some of the value cards. Like, where's the Marauder? That card's absolutely cracked in Han. You get to play it on 4 resources. You get to kill something. And if, like, your Battlefield Marines are dead and you defeated a Battlefield Marine, that Marauder was designed to be played in Han. Because you get to defeat a resource. So if your Battlefield Marine is dead and you defeat the resource for Battlefield Marine, let's say on your resupply turn, then you can play Marauder next turn and cheat in a resource. I think that is really bizarre. Maybe they didn't have time, but Marauder is like an auto 3 of in this deck instead of Kira, in my opinion. But okay, that's the rest. That's all the lists here. Let's take a look here. We got 1 Ray, 1 green Ray, but 1 Ray Red, 2 Ray Red, 3 Ray Red, 4 Ray Red, 5 Ray Reds. What is going on? And then 1 green. So, wow, that's crazy. What is that? 30% of the meta is Ray Red. Let's see how it does. Of course, some of them are going to make the top 4. When you're playing 5 of a deck, somebody's going to make it in the top 8, in the top 4. Keep that in mind. Like, if 6, 8 people are playing the same deck, 3 of them are probably going to make top 8. Like, it's 4 of them at least, right? It's just going to happen, statistically speaking. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this list or how this tournament goes. Let me know what you all think and which deck you're intrigued about. Definitely interesting to see a lot of decks not playing set 2 cards. Don't know why that's the case. But I'm definitely high on the Green Ray. I'm high. For some reason, I'm high on this Cassian deck. There's something about it that's like, you know what? Maybe Astico is on to something here. I definitely think I could take this tournament. I have like 1 bad matchup in the whole tournament. Like I've tested against this deck a lot and I have no problem This deck is interesting. I hope this deck wins. It's like one of the only control decks. Yeah, this is pretty good to see. This deck is interesting. This would be a relatively cheap deck if it wins, since it's playing so many set 1 legendaries. Black 1 and Mace Windu are like, you know, a couple bucks right now, and then Aggression's the only expensive card. And I really want to see this Tarkin. Where did it go? Tarkin. I want to see this get into the top 4. This deck would cost probably $40 for the rares. It's untuned, absolutely, but I mean, I want to see this deck win. It's a cheap deck. This deck takes first. I'd rather have them beat me in the finals, honestly, because this deck is so cheap. I want to see a cheap deck win and be accessible for everyone at locals and stuff like that. That would be really cool. This is a deck I'm going to be doing a deck tech on. I have my own version I had already built, but I'm going to be iterating it. This deck is very fun. It's potentially a deck I'm considering playing for set 2 at my locals because of how fun it is. Expect to see that Grand Moff Tarkin yellow coming, deck tech coming soon. I think I have one that's a little bit more tuned than this, but this is very close. Absolutely. So let's go take a look at the bracket here. It's a long video. So this is the bracket. I have already beaten Sip. This has to be updated as of a couple hours ago. And I believe Vlad lost to Grand Lotus. So one of the Ray Reds got knocked out. But I'm probably playing Ray Green in the next match unless this Cassian deck can take it. And this Ray Green is going to give me some trouble. So I'm excited to see how this goes. And we'll post an update once the tournament is done. Thanks so much for watching. Definitely click below to subscribe for more deck techs, tournament analysis. I got a lot of stuff coming. Set 2's coming. This is very fun and exciting. I feel like very refreshed here with where things are going with Star Wars Unlimited and the new meta. I think right now this TTI league is not representative of what's going to be the best deck or very strong decks. I just think we're not playing enough set 2 cards yet. I think a lot of us are timid. That's totally fine. I think being safe is probably better safe than sorry, right? But I'm excited to see what happens. And I think my opinion is I think the deck that's going to win is going to be a tried and true deck like Sabine, or a deck that's playing a lot of set 2 cards with synergistic set 2 cards. I think that's gonna be the winner. That's my prediction. Thanks so much, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and talk to you soon. Peace.